wish I could see your screen to see what.
Take a guess. What song do you think I'm gonna play?
I don't know.
Take a guess. Well,
like I'm literally 5 songs ahead of myself. Whatever you hear, I'm 5 songs ahead of.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Hate when DJs say, "Oh, I know how to read a crowd." Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
I deleted that song from my.
Did you really?
No, not really. But you hear that little.
You come out with napkins.
That sound, and you just spring up at it like. Just gotta triple check it. This is the way it goes.
Honestly, this is why you have to have multiple people doing this stuff, because like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. People think podcasting is just sitting down and talking. It's actually a lot more work than we anticipate. But
I was one of those, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you just sat down, had a conversation, you had a mic, you hit record, and that was
well,
it.
It's so to sum up the reason why we started doing this is because number one, I wanted to bring some of the information to brides and grooms, because I think we both agree that there's so much misinformation out there that they're attaining from online sources, and we'll talk about that later in the podcast.
Absolutely.
But so much of it is misinformation that they are getting blinded by that misinformation, and then when they go out to start shopping, or if they're going to make decisions based on that information, they're quickly finding out that they are playing behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
And because of that, weddings that are supposed to be epically awesome become mediocre. And to me, that's been unacceptable for like the last 10 years. So my biggest asset is like, okay, how do we make sure that this doesn't happen to everybody? And I thought this podcast was the best way to do it, by bringing in event professionals, event industry professionals, and like giving some like advice to those people. So I wanted to bring you in.
Perfect. Picking brains, I love it.
Well, so obviously I want you to talk about your background, who you worked with, stuff of that nature. But you've worked with major companies, some celebrities, you've freelanced, done almost every single possible job you could do in our event industry in regards to the entertainment portion, from roadieing to DJing to MCing, photo booth attending, event planning. Like, your list actually goes pretty deep. So go into who you are, why people should listen to you, and like what you bring to a bride and groom, or bride and bride, or a groom and groom.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? I'm Sam. I own BPN Events, a.k.a. The Best Party Night. I've been doing this, man, for 18 years. I look young, don't get it twisted. I'm 31. But I started when I was 13. Shout out Jordan Marshall. That's where I originally started. He was my camp counselor back in the day. And I was like, yo, man, I love this. This is awesome. I was hooked immediately. I saw him perform once. I was like, I want that. Mm-hmm. So I just started working for him, roadieing, doing light jobs, and then started working for a couple other companies. And then I got in with City Sounds Entertainment back in like 2014 time frame.
Yeah, we met pretty much right after that, actually.
Yeah, right
John
after
introduced
that.
us.
Yes, I was working with John Haddad. I was his personal DJ for a long time, and things happened in the business and parted ways, and
well,
yeah, we just parted ways. No harsh feelings. He was my sensei. Everything I learned, good especially, was from him. He broke down bad habits when I came in and whatnot. So I definitely give him the credit he deserves. He worked with me, and I will never badmouth him. He's a great guy, great entertainer, but just didn't work out as time went on, and I did my own thing, and here we are 3 years into my own company, and I love it. Yeah. It's another ball game, owning your own company, but it's worth every second of every day.
Yeah, so obviously, knowing my position, what I do here, owning a business and just being a DJ are two entirely different fields. It does open you up to a lot of the unknown possibilities that most people just don't dive into until they actually own their own business.
Exactly. I didn't know how deep it really got till I started, doing all the real back-end work that you have to put into owning a business, not just, here's the music, show up and let's have a good time, set up and whatnot.
Well, I guess it's my first question. Like, what made you go into the business rather than just being an everyday entertainer for the wedding industry? Like, what caused you to kind of just either go out on your own or try to figure it out on your own? What was the driving factor behind that?
Straight up?
Yeah.
Music saved my life. I know it sounds so corny. Everybody has a past. Did my stuff as a kid, grew up, but music was always there for everything. Like, no matter how you're feeling, sad, happy, upset, doesn't matter. There's always a song. You know, for me, Best Day Ever by Mac Miller, that song personally, it's tatted on my arm. Like, you know, it gives me certain feelings. So to always be around music was like going to therapy for me. So why not get paid and get therapy at the same time? So I really, you know, besides even that, like I love people. I love just talking. Like you just had 2 clients here. I don't even know who they were. And we were just talking like I've known them for 10 years,
chopping
you
it
know?
up, yeah.
Yeah, so you get to meet all different people, personalities, and I don't know, you learn from somebody every day. So I wanted to stay in this industry and learn and grow and keep, you know, picking brains, as I like to call it. And I just stuck around, and I loved it.
Well, I'm glad that that worked out for you, but it was like, you know, going back to the business question is typically like the factors of a business from what you see being a performer to the back ends of operating the business and then operating, managing, and aiding clients. What was like the biggest hurdle for you to kind of get over? Did you see like there was a learning curve in regards to dealing with clients, attaining new clients, operations, production operations? Like what were some of the biggest hurdles you had to get over to get into that?
I would say getting new clients. You know, as a new company, people don't really know who you are. So even now, like 3 years in, I'm still mainly word of mouth. You know, you see me at an event. Hey, you did my friend's wedding, and which is fine. Like, you know, we're doing great. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I would love to be able to, you know, just be like a big name DJ, like, you know, Plat Dash, SCE, where it's like, oh, you know the brand name, you're not asking any other questions, and you're just signing right then on spot. Like that's my next goal, is to be that level.
Okay. Well, so in hindsight, for those of you who don't actually know those companies, Sam is also from the New Jersey area where we're located.
Sorry, I forgot.
No, it's cool. No, but it's important for a lot of people to understand that. And I was actually, before I go into that, it's important for people to understand what we do here is vastly different anywhere else in the country.
Oh my God, yeah.
I recently learned that when I went to Texas, and New Jersey and New York are 2 of the most expensive cities and states to get married. The only one,
It's
believe it
true.
or not, is Massachusetts and Connecticut that are in contention with us.
But forget price. Let's talk about the talent. I lived in Seattle for 3 years, and you know, I was flying back and forth every 2 weeks to do weddings here on the West Coast. Outside New Jersey, forget New York, just New Jersey, weddings are not crazy. They're not, they're more, not saying like you're not gonna have a good time or a good dance set, but in Jersey, the way we do weddings, everybody else in the country follows us, but they're always 5-10 years behind what we're doing. So, listen, I love doing destination weddings, but Jersey weddings,
They are.
they just, I
there's
don't know,
a
I don't
lot
know
of
what
truth
it
to that.
is.
No, there's a lot of truth to that, and I think it's also because the New Jersey also is a sub area of the New York nightlife, of which a lot of the DJs that move outside of the tri-state area of New York tend to migrate over here, and I think that level of talent and that skill set has translated over here into the private event industry. And a lot of DJs have also talked about this as well, where a lot of newly engaged couples are looking for a nightlife experience for their private event.
Yes.
And a lot of DJs or entertainers have to come from that area for them to be considered. That's what it's like out here. Whereas private events in other more rural areas don't have the nightlife that we have.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because the vast differences, without being disrespectful, it's kind of like Shaquille O'Neal playing basketball with 5th graders. It's it's an unfair advantage because the pace of which we work,
Absolutely.
the quality of entertainment of which we work, the talent of which we work with, and also the competition.
I was gonna say the biggest
It is
thing
way
out here
bigger.
is everybody and their brother, their sister, everybody's a DJ out
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So, you know, even living on the West Coast, not saying not everybody was a DJ, there were a lot, but you know, I just know people that started DJing 2 years ago and they're already, you know, at Headliner, they're here, they're at this club, and it's like, you just started downloading music. Like,
Well, that's another thing. Patrick and I talked about this briefly on another podcast. The barrier to entry to being a DJ is so low. And I think it's now, in order for you to get booked, whether it's a private event or a nightclub event or any other event, primarily has to do with some kind of nepotism. It has to do with you knowing somebody who's going to vouch for you to go take that job. And because you've learned one skill, that qualifies you to go do that job. And that's not true. It's very, very different. And the experienced people will tell you differently. And we're also noticing that because of this trend of new people getting the opportunities that they haven't earned yet, has also caused a lot of the industry to be depleted, both in the nightlife industry and the private industry. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, a lot of DJ packages are getting smaller because people don't want them because they don't think it's necessary. They think they just need good music. But what actually happens when you do that is you require the DJ to do more without having those extra elements. And when they have to do more and they can't do more because they're inexperienced, now you have a bad experience.
Exactly. And then you're going to go back, I'm upset, all that. And, you know, it's I hate this saying, but it is what it is. You get what you pay for. So, you know, you don't have to spend $20,000 on a DJ. You could spend $5,000, but you're still getting, you know, great entertainment, getting some lighting to enhance your room, getting the Intel lighting so you have your spotlight, some nightlife feel when you're dancing, maybe some clouds, just a little something to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that the external add-ons are the cherry on top of a dessert that most people want. They just don't know how sweet their tooth is.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. I also think that the pioneers who have revolutionized the concept of private entertainment, who do extremely well, and you already know the names I'm thinking of, but they start at a much higher rate because they already understand that the quality of entertainment that they provide is few and far between matchable. That if they don't have that higher price tag, the standard, the bar of which people are trying to gain levels on, it dissipates, which again is even worse for our industry. So I think what it really comes down to is understanding that our job is not entertainment, it's also to educate. And if we can't educate properly and effectively to our clients, we're only hurting our industry, we're hurting our clients, we're hurting our potential clients, we're hurting future clients, and the industry is going to wither away. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know it sounds very far-fetched, but we have a responsibility to do stuff like this because we have to communicate this in a way that most people aren't used to communicating, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you sat down with a DJ to book your wedding? Hopefully only one time. Unlike me, who's going to do it twice. Like, it's okay. Listen, you got to make fun of it, though. You just got to have fun in life. That's the only way to get
Well, let's actually talk about that briefly because we've both been married. You're
still married. Ring's still on his finger, ladies. He is not on. He's not for grabs.
I love you, honey. I love you. No, but we've both been on both sides of the fence where I've gone through the vendor process. I've also been on the side of selling as a vendor process. But tell me about your experience in regards to being part of the bridal experience, if you will.
Mine was super simple. I was a COVID wedding. Straight up, I got married in my backyard with 30 people, and that was it. Like, simple. We catered food. I didn't get to do what I kind of wanted. Like, I don't want to spend like thousands, but I'd like to celebrate my wife. I'm going to get married again. Like, it's a 30 to 50 grand, maybe. I don't know. That's an average wedding,
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that too. Like if you were to get married again, knowing what you know and understanding the vendors and the venues, and
would I do it again? No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, you gotta go with what you like. And if you're stuck between two people, you go with, at that point, if it comes down to money, you go towards who's cheaper if you like them both. If not, I'm one of those, like, this is my Super Bowl. This is my World Series. I'm not doing this again. So if I like a photographer that's $5,000 and I really want them, I'm going to make that happen because those photos are for life. Same with the entertainment and the DJ or a band or whatever you go with. they're gonna make or break your wedding, your sweet 16, no matter what type of party. If they're great, I still run into couples. I did their wedding 10 years ago. Oh my God, wedding was insane. I'm like, I still remember your wedding. You know, so it's one of those, like, don't go into debt for your wedding, but get what you want. Do what you want. Do what you want.
Which is actually something we wanted to talk about too, is talking about what brides want, how they get what they want. And I have a different perception of it, which I want to get into, but I want to hear your point of view. Talking to brides, how do you tell them to execute their vision of their wedding? Like, do you have like a game plan or a playbook or advice that you would give to a bride or a groom or a couple that's going to essentially want to execute the perfect dream wedding? Like, is there like advice you would give to them just to get that out of there?
Honestly, don't try and control your day. Just go with the flow. Reason being, if you're trying to control, something's going to go wrong. Nothing is perfect in this world, even on your wedding day. Something is bound to go wrong. But if you just roll with the punches and you just enjoy your day and you kind of let it go, you will have the perfect wedding day. You'll have the wedding you always dreamed of. But if you're trying to control those moments, you're going to be so stressed and worried about that, you're not going to get to enjoy your wedding day. So get what you want and forget everybody else. This is what I tell my brides and my grooms all the time. This is the one day in your entire life you could be as selfish as you want and no one could tell you no, because this day's about you. Do what you want. Make it happen. And if you choose the right vendors who listen to you and actually take the time to care about what you want, you're going to kick back, relax, and they're going to blow your minds away. I could guarantee that every time.
So I want to take what you just said there, because you were like, do what you want, roll with the punches, trust your vendors, right?
That's why you booked us.
Right, but that's the thing. How important is it to choose the right vendors, and how do you find them? Like, I guess, like, because we're vendors.
True.
Right? So obviously we understand how to do our best to explain why they should go with us. Like, there's clearly a sales process that we have to convince our potential clients, like, hey, we are the right fit for you. But how does a bridegroom or a couple find the right people with doing very little, shopping around or trusting the misinformation we briefly spoke about? How do they find the right vendors, I guess is my ultimate question.
I would say definitely check their social media. You know, there are DJs out there that are, I'm going to say, DJs that, anybody could spin EDM and house music. I could teach a kid to do that in 2 weeks, but you can't handle a wedding. So check their social medias. Look at how many events they've done. See if they have done weddings. 1,000% go read reviews. Take the time. Take an extra 10 minutes to read reviews, because even if there's some bad reviews, look at the good reviews too. There's always going to be somebody that's unhappy. You can't make everybody in this world happy, but definitely read the reviews, look at the content, maybe see if you could find other brides and be like, hey, like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's
a big thing now is on social media, especially Facebook, on these Facebook groups about, hey, I'm looking for this DJ. Anybody have any feedback? And you have 60 comments. Thousands of comments of just
You're one of those
other
comments.
brides. I am. 'Cause I'm trying to get your wedding. I'm trying to make you and me have the best night ever. Like, so, it's one of those. I mean, yeah.
No, okay. So, all right. So my advice to a lot of brides and grooms is actually opposite of what you're saying.
Which is fine.
Well, the reason why I say is like this, right? It's not always about you. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but on your wedding day, the decisions you're making should not be about you and your spouse. And the reason being is because if it was just about you and your spouse and you completely made it an unemotional subject line, you would be doing it for a much cheaper price, for a lot less, and getting your life started. That's one way.
Okay, I see what you're saying there.
If you're going to make the decision to invest in a celebration, because that's what you're doing, you're investing in a celebration, don't let anybody tell you differently. If you find the investment useful to you in a celebration, then you got to do it in a way where everybody else in attendance is going to enjoy it.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's where it comes in, where trusting your vendors. I always ask my couples, give me, 10 songs each of I must hear these at my wedding. If you have other requests, that's great. But it gives me an idea of what my couples want. But don't get it twisted. when you're sitting down for ceremony, I'm looking at the crowd and I'm
we're scouting.
Yeah, like I'm gauging, like, okay, like I could see like they're kind of older. So the first dance set, I'm not playing the bangers. I'm playing like September, Let's Groove, maybe some Michael Jackson, Show Me Love, things like that. But later on in the night, yeah, we're gonna pick it up a little bit. So, in a way, not saying like, yes, it is about you in my sense, but your vendors should know in a way too, like cater to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't just, play rap because the bride only likes Cardi B.
Well, I'm also talking about in regards to the vendors of guiding you in making those decisions. Most vendors that you're going to talk to as a bride and groom will only try to sell you their one service. And that's one of the issues that we have. They don't take the time to help you paint the full picture, which is why a lot of vendors are rogue and they're quite frankly mediocre. It's like if I was to tell you, you have a vision of executing a bar style wedding, right? Because you and your husband met at a bar, or you just go to a karaoke every other week, right? And that's your style of a wedding. That's what you want at your wedding. Then everything that is accustomed to that celebration has to be surrounded by that vision. And that's where event planners usually come into play. Good event planners come into play. Bad event planners are like, oh yeah, we could do this cute thing. We could do this cute thing, or we could add this cute thing. And that's not executable. Execution is like, okay, you want to do karaoke? Fantastic. Well, we have to have a karaoke station on this far side of the room so that way they can communicate with the DJ over here. And then we're going to do cocktail style so people can grab, go, make their request, go eat, and then wait to call up for their song.
I want a event planner that is OCD. I do. Not one that tells me how to do my job, but one that is on top of his or her game.
Yeah.
When I tell you event planners that know their stuff, when I tell you it becomes an easier day, I truly mean that. Then you have,
100%.
The event planners that, like you said before, they try and do this. It's like, how do you... There's no way we're executing this.
No.
There's no way.
Most of the event planners that we know are usually people who, as stereotypical as it sounds, are former sorority presidents who threw the parties for their sorority.
And they think they could throw everything now.
Exactly. And again, as harsh as that sounds, there's some truth to it.
It is.
Great event planners are actually those who are very business minded. And that's how you know you're dealing with the right person. If they are business minded,
sure,
you're going to have somebody who's really, really, really good. If they're like cutesy ideas and only cutesy ideas, I promise you there's going to be a very big gap of unorganized chaos that could potentially happen. And again, that goes back to your vendors, choosing the right vendors and understanding who's the type A, who's the go-along person, who's the creative, et cetera, et cetera. Which also talks about one of your biggest pet peeves, which is when to book vendors.
Oh, my God.
So, Sam, tell me, when should you book a vendor and what should you not do?
All right. Well, to me, it depends. If you're like somebody like you and me that's in high demand, you can't wait 6 months before your wedding, couple months. Like, you just can't do it. You have to book us a year, sometimes 2 years. Like, I'm booking through 26. If you want to book me for 26 right now, I'm taking it. No problem. I have some people that are still, inquiring for November and December. And it's like, listen, I'm available. I'll do your wedding. It's no problem. But why are you waiting? We're one of the most important vendors. I always tell couples, venue, entertainment, photography, videography, floors. Those are the 4 top things in order, in my opinion, on how you should be booking your vendors for your event. I just don't understand why you wait till the last second and then get upset when, the high demand DJs are not there. I'm sorry. I feel bad, but I have other entertainers on my team that are fantastic. I have no problem sending one of them out. Ball's in your court.
I wouldn't. So you use a term there where you're like high-end entertainers, and I think that's the biggest issue. The overall perception of entertainment is the same.
True.
People think that entertainment is only a flat line baseline. Okay, they just have to do this, and if they do this, it's a success of a party. Wrong.
We are not the bare minimum, I promise you that.
We are not the bare minimum. Well, it's not, it's more than just being the bare minimum. If you just think that playing music is going to give you the experience that you want to have, it's far from that. And it's not just about event organizing. It's understanding human nature. It's understanding how to look at somebody and tell, is that person having a good time, or are they getting tired? Are they getting hungry? What are their actions telling me about the music I'm playing? And I hate when DJs are, I know how to read a crowd. Yeah, dum-dum, because that should be number one priority. That literally
That should have been what you learned day one.
That should be a prerequisite to your job. So you mean to tell me, hold on, let's make sure.
Let's get comfortable
Let me look
here.
at you right now, okay? Look at me. Okay. You mean to tell me because you could tell that somebody slows down their two-step, that they're getting bored? That's your go-to? Really? You're that good, huh? Yeah. No, I mean, when I think about that, think about how ridiculous that is. If you're a DJ and your only argument is, I know how to read a crowd. Dude, my sister knows how to read a crowd if all of a sudden everybody's like energetic and then all of a sudden their body language slows down. It's a physical thing. And unless you're
I think everybody might be able to.
Like, am I...
I would hope so, at least.
Sam, am I crazy? Because
I don't know. Apparently, because some things don't make sense to us, but make sense to other people, which is not logical.
I just don't like the argument anymore because I think the argument is so outdated.
I could read a crowd. That's bro. Like, congrats. I'm so glad you could do step one of being a real DJ.
Granted, having great music is a big thing, but if I can't tell that what I'm doing is or is not working, then you're tone deaf, blind, and stupid. There's no other way to put it. I'm like, without being
it's
that much of a jerk, but it's the truth. Like, you have to understand, like, okay, I know, and again, this is more common sense, but you'd be surprised. If I have a guest list that is 60% above the age of 50 years old, 60% of your guests are over the age of 50. They're not going to want to dance to only today's music. They're not going to want to do that. And if you do it for too long, what's going to happen? They're going to find another way to entertain themselves.
They're going to go sit down and catch up with Aunt Sally that they haven't seen in 8 years.
They're going to go to the bar. They're going to go to the buffet. They're going to go smoke outside. They're going to go take pictures. They're going to do something else that is going to make your job harder.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, fluidity, flexibility, and improv is how you're going to be able to really make a difference to a crowd. If you can't switch on a dime creatively, you're going to have a major issue. And as an entertainer, that should be the only thing you're working on, in my opinion.
Your mind is constantly go, go, go. You know, you're doing something, but you're 3 steps ahead of yourself at all times. And it's not even just 3 steps ahead. It's like, okay, if they're dying out, this is the game plan I'm going in. If they're not dying out, this is what I'm doing. Like, you have multiple
Avenues.
going in your head at once. And it's like, all right, which way are we going? And that's where I could read the crowd comes into play.
For those of you who aren't DJs, let me put it in perspective in our points of view. Okay, we're dancing a crowd. Let's say it's the first dance set. The first thing you're usually doing is, at some capacity, there's some kind of sentimental moment that's happening. Whether you're watching somebody have their first dance or you're going to invite everybody else to share a slow dance with a significant other. That's pretty standard in almost every wedding that I've ever done. Would you agree?
That's how I do it.
Okay, so you have a sentimental moment, which brings emotion out of people. So now you're in the middle of that sentimental moment. Maybe it's in the middle of the slow dance, or maybe it's in the middle of the first dance. Unless you already planned ahead of it, the thing that's going on in your brain is like, okay, we're going to try 105 BPM. We're going to do, let's say, I Want You Back by Jackson 5, and then from there, we're going to see if we could do a little bit of newbies from the 90s, early 1000s, and a couple of 80s tracks. So we're going to flip back and forth. Okay, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of this. I think the Bee Gees would go well here. I'm thinking Montel Jordan will go well here. I'm thinking Beyonce will go through here. I'm thinking Usher might go through here. A little Dua Lipa might go through here.
Careful on that Beyonce. She's one of the most do not plays.
I know. But I am also saying that that's in the mindset of a DJ. That is what's happening in our hamster wheel.
Yep.
It is constantly turning. If your DJ's like, I'll just keep playing this genre for X long with no preparation of how it's going to turn out, then you're going to have a bad experience both as the DJ and as a guest.
Yeah.
Would you
Don't just
agree?
wing it. I mean, like, you are winging it, but don't just like be like, oh, let's figure it out as
No,
one
I don't
song
figure things
goes.
out.
Like, I'm literally 5 songs ahead of myself. Whatever you hear, I'm 5 songs ahead of what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I don't even want to tell you how organized I am in my music. It's actually, some people like they
OCD?
praise me for it. Yeah, some people praise me for it. Other people are like, yo, you got a problem.
It's all right. I'd rather have the problem than not be organized. Because I've seen some laptops where they're like,
Oh, dude.
all right, they're not that organized, but they're pretty organized. And then I've seen laptops where it's like, bro, what are you doing?
No, it's bad.
What are you doing?
Have you, like, I've approached other DJs' laptops, and I just keep, you ever do the doom scrolling on a DJ's laptop, like somebody else's laptop, where, like, you go to the crate section, and you just keep scrolling, and you're like,
Trying to find that
how
one song.
far does this go? And you're like, I'm still scrolling. I'm
Listen,
7 scrolls down.
I have some of those, but those are like, those crates that you don't really touch in a way.
And dump them.
Nah, because like there's those couple bangers that you use that were in there, you know?
no.
Listen, I'm
Oh, no.
going to shout out Anthony Domino. He tells it to me all the time. You are a hoarder? Yes. When it comes to music, absolutely. But that's why we're having separate hard drives. Where we have the one that's hoarded and then one that we use for like all events, whatever it is.
I will tell you that I literally dedicate 1 day a week for at least 2 hours of organizing music. I literally, between downloading, organizing, and shipping it out,
Oh, it takes time.
I'm consistent with it. And I have about 20 crates that constantly get refreshed based on every 3 months. So every 3 months, that crate gets a revamped
Yep.
set list where I'll keep like 70% of those tracks, and then another 30% gets
Throw in a
tossed out
couple
and
new
replaced.
ones,
Yeah,
switch it
because
out.
you gotta, you keep the tried and true tracks, but everybody's tired of September. Let's be honest.
Listen,
Let's be honest. I love the song.
I was
but
going to
it's-
say, you
it's
can't not
tired.
love that song.
It's tired,
It's
though.
September.
It's-
And it's September right now.
I'll leave
I wish
you-
it was the 21st.
I'll
We'd
leave
have
you-
fun.
I have a wedding on. Wait, do I have a wedding on the 21st?
Yes, we do. Well, I do.
do.
I know you
I
do.
have the
We're not
21st.
together, but I know you have a wedding.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
do.
Saturday night. There's no way.
I do. I have a wedding on the 21st. But it's crazy to me is that I'm like, I look at some of the videos that we record on jobs, and I'm like, oh, because like what we do is we skim through it to see like where the highlights are.
Yep.
And of course, I'm like, oh, this one's good. Everybody's hands are up, and I play it. It's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, wait,
It's another one.
what cringe is?
Tell me.
Line dances at your wedding.
Oh, you.
Please, listen. I'm not even going to say listen, just don't do it. I was trying to think of a way I could maybe be like, it might work. No, just don't. Like, there's so many other songs. It's a wedding, if you're at a Sweet 16, a mitzvah, communion, all right, cool. But your wedding, like, let's just play good bangers.
Well,
Even Come On
I'll tell
Eileen.
you.
I'll take Come On Eileen over it.
I'll tell you that line dances were designed for people who don't know how to dance to follow along and feel as if like they're not out of place.
Yeah.
That's really what they were. And I think there are a lot of people out there who still like line dancing because it's become tried and true from when they were a kid to some of the more adult parties where they just don't like dancing, but line dances they just vibe with.
Yeah, listen, if you're the crowd where
know.
you're not dancers, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it fits your vibe, go for it. But like, there's so many other songs. I'd rather you just tap your foot and sing along to a song than play the cha-cha slide and have 3 or 4 people want to actually get out and do it
Well, I'm
because
more
they're
about
not
energy.
dancers.
So that's interesting that you say that because I'm more about energy. I'm more of like, okay, if that track's going to make them go off, I'd rather play that track.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like I said, if it's the type of event where your family is not dancers and that's going to get them up, yeah, we need it. Let's play
Right.
it. But like I said, there's so many other songs out there where you don't need it.
Let's talk about how you navigate that with certain people. What I like to do is you have your sing-alongs, which invigorate people to sing and like get the energy up.
Exactly.
And then you have I call them sprints, which is like, okay, you have 20 minutes to knock out a dance set that's going to get everybody riled up and ready for the next one or the end of the night. So those are my sprints. So those two are the ones I like to really dive deep in and really prep, because if I feel like I can get people singing along at the back end of dinner, I'm going to have a much easier time to get them on the dance floor.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Versus what I think a lot of guys do is what they'll do is like, they'll play background music specifically, and then what they don't understand is that they're actually just creating this lower level that people have a hard time getting out of. So what do? They're like, oh, let's do a slow dance. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this.
I mean, sometimes I do, the slow dance just because, you want to mainly, when you say dance time at a wedding, you want to be dancing. To me, a slow dance, I play like 2 to 3, maybe. 3 is like max. Usually it's 2. This way everyone's happy. But, if I see more of an older crowd at the wedding, then yeah, I might start off with a slow song just because I know after dinner they still need like that extra minute to digest. Yeah. But if it's one of those crowds like June 20th, this wedding at 6:18, oh my God, my back's still recovering from it. I didn't need a slow song. I just needed to do my thing. That's all they wanted. Just, Sam, do your thing. And those nights are the best nights. Yeah. If you don't need a slow song, you don't need a line dance, play those bangers. Just, even if it's not a true banger, play it anyway. I guarantee you, like Your Love Is My Drug by Kesha, people are still rocking out to it.
I think we're now approaching the generation where I'm going to call it that our generation of like punk rock music of 2000.
Hell yeah.
This might offend us, but I don't care. It's becoming dad rock. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so for it, though. I'm so down for it. Give me Creed.
Bro.
Give it to me. Feed it to me.
So,
Green Day. Give me all of... Listen, I don't look it on the inside. I still have that. It's a lifestyle. It's not a phase. It's still there.
It's still there.
Just got to cover it up a little bit.
No, I don't cover it up anymore. Just go... I mean, look, Mr. Brightside went a hiatus for about 15 years and then spiked again in like 2019. And I'm pretty sure every wedding Mr. Brightside has played now.
It's one of the number one, for me this year, like one of the number one closing songs of the night. Like last song of the night with all the guests, hit Mr. Brightside.
Fair enough.
20 years old, still rocking out to it.
My big one that I still go to, especially if it's an American, New Jersey track, is Calling.
Oh my God.
Calling still hits, especially if you're doing between the ages of 25 to 35 from New Jersey or like where we're from. I think that really is the one that hits because everybody knows it's the DJ's anthem. It's the Jersey Shore anthem. It's one of the ones that everybody just...
You could be in hibernation. You hear that little...
You come out with napkins.
That sound and you just spring up at it like...
All of a sudden, the walls turn green, and you don't know what happened.
Banging on the walls, napkins are flying everywhere.
It's nuts. But I'm dead serious. That's a big one we close with. We also like the sing-alongs. Another one that, because of social media, is Celine Dion.
It's all coming back to me.
Yeah, it's a great one to end with, especially if you want to have the bride and the groom in the center of the dance floor.
That kind of gives me like... Time of My Life vibes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's like the new version.
That's a good point.
Of it. At least that's what I just thought of.
Remember the old Grease Megamixes? Oh. Oh. When every guy thought he was John Travolta for about 5 minutes.
And you had either it was mom or the one aunt that thought she was like the hottest of the hottest thing.
It's yeah. And then okay, another tradition I get it, but I'm kind of tired of it. Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
I deleted that song from my...
Did you really?
No, not really. But it's one of those like, listen, I'm not gonna knock it. It's a good song, but I don't need 8 minutes of it. It kills your floor. It will kill your floor. I promise you. You think it's gonna bang and everyone's gonna be there. Yeah. It's not what you think.
Well, no. So the tradition that we used to do, we would do it at the back end of or right before dessert, because it's usually the song that gets all of the adults up, like the older adults up, and they're like, okay, let's play Meatloaf, 70s, 80s crowd. That's their jams. But you would do it at a time when you're like, okay, we have to transition or get out of a dessert time or a dinner time. Because again, it invigorates people to sing. Then. It is because like
it's a pretty good idea.
Well, think about it. Like, okay, dessert's coming out in 10 minutes. Oh, play Meatloaf. Okay. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it might slow down the energy of that dance set. But if it gets grandma, well, not grandma, but let's say mom and dad up, and then aunts and uncles up, and then if it was a tradition that's from your family, then yeah, it's going to invigorate everybody to get the two lines and the guys with their girls. But you're right. As a DJ, you're just standing there like,
there's certain songs
you're just like looking around.
I can't stand them. Listen, I'll play them. You'll see me behind the booth singing and dancing to them, but on the inside, I'm like, I'm so sick of this song.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And I want to, because we got off on a tangent, but I do want to talk about booking vendors last second. We have seen an average, actually, let me backtrack. I did research in our company site, because we have the metrics to track this, how long it actually takes for people to book a wedding for us, and the length of which time the time they book to the time of their date of the event. In 2018, okay, the average time was 13 months. Okay. So it was just a year out, okay?
That's average.
2019 was,
what it should be.
I think it was still 13 months, so that stayed the same. 2020 obviously kind of reset things.
What is 2020? It never happened.
And then 2022, I skipped 2021 because that was a debacle of the year where like everything just got backloaded. 2022, this is what surprised me. It went to 9 months. And I was like, okay. And then I looked at 2023 and it was 10 months. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why? But now, before you got here today, I actually did the metric again. It's now up to 15 months.
Oh, wow.
15 months.
But I don't understand. My thing is, again, if you want to take that time, you want to take 15 months to book your entertainment or all your vendors, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But don't be upset if you go to contact them and the person you want is not available. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to take what you get at that point because, again, you wanted to wait, that's fine. But we can't wait. At the end of the day, you know, I don't have like a 9-to-5 and retirement and all this. I only feed myself and my puppies and like, you know, what I got to do when I physically go out and do a job. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you could tell me, oh, can you hold the date? Yeah, that's fine. But if somebody else is ready to pay right now, I'm sorry. Like
it's a first come, first serve service.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I feel bad. I got a big heart, but it's one of those, again, like I got to do what I got to do. I got to survive.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. From my experiences of people who book last minute, they didn't know who you were. You were referred, like, typically when that happens, it's not a direct contact. If somebody knows they want you for your wedding, you're usually one of the first people they call after they secure one or two vendors, usually the venue or maybe a photographer above you. But outside of that, it's usually you're one of the first people if they know they want you. Yep. When they don't know they want you, or they don't have any connections to entertainment, or they don't have any legitimate referrals to go after, that's when they wait. Why? Because they want to feel secure in the things that they feel is important, and they think that entertainment, again, at its baseline, if they accomplish this amount, then it's a successful event. And they think that almost every DJ, because if I go outside and I throw a rock down the block, I'm going to hit another DJ. But they think that because there's so many out there, that line is going to be met by virtually anybody they call. So I think that the differences of the metrics that we scan, where now it's 15 months, is primarily because of two things. Number one, the expenses of weddings are going higher and higher and higher.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's crazy nowadays how much people are spending. 6 figures on a wedding? I put that towards a house. No,
which I want to hold that thought because there's a metric I'm going to blow your mind on. There's that one. And then number two is also that they want to secure the primary details of their event. So in other words, if you know that you have 100% budget and you know that the venue is going to take about 50 to 60% of your budget, right? You want to knock that out. You want to secure that number and get the best deal possible. Why? Because you're guaranteeing rates that you might not get if you wait longer. That's one. Number two is that now let's say photographer is going to be another 15% of your budget. So now you already accounted for 65% of your budget if you got lucky with your venue. Then you're like, okay, well, we need entertainment. Let's just say entertainment's the third stop because they prioritize that, but they also know 10% of their budget should go to entertainment, which is what I recommend. Yep. Then now you're looking at 75% of your budget gone.
Right away.
So now 75% of your budget is based off 3 vendors. The venue, your DJ, and your media, like photography and videography.
Yep.
Those are the 3 right there. 75% of your wedding is gone. So if they knock those out early, they need a longer amount of time to pay that off. So
True.
that's what I think it is, especially if they know. Now, the ones that are coming in at the 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, or 12 months, they are hearing about us from those Facebook posts like you're talking about, because they're like, oh, we've never seen you perform. We've never heard you perform. We're just getting good reviews out of you. We found you on Google. You name the reason. But those are the people who are like, okay, we're getting other things out of the way. Like they probably got, for example, they probably did their guest list. They got their venue. They probably got a photographer. They probably
did everything else besides
flowers. Right. They started.
DJ.
Well, they started getting ideas. Right. They're looking at engagement parties. Like they're looking at those things because they're putting off the things they don't know.
Exactly.
So if they're putting off things they don't know because they need to buy what I call ignorance time, which is like, okay, I don't know anything, so I'm going to ignore it until I need to.
Which is the worst. You should do your research and then later on.
They don't prioritize it because they don't know. They don't know.
Because they think, a lot of people think as a DJ, like, you're just showing up, you're pressing play and calling it like a day. Like, that's all we're doing.
False.
In reality, you know, I'm spending almost, I don't know, 20 to 40 hours with you before your wedding day, let's say. I just want to, I'm very one-on-one. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you want. I can't get that off the initial, like, hey, what's up? You want to book? Click, like, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
You sign, we're booked. I like to get one-on-one so I know exactly what you want, who you are. Like, you know, the more you wait, I can't really do that. Like, if you book me, let's say I'm available and I book you 2 months before. I'm not saying I'm not going to crush your wedding, but I would like to know who you are.
There's a bigger adjustment when you know very little about your client versus when you actually get to work with them.
Exactly. You get to know them, and I don't know.
Knowing your client is the number one hack in order for you to have a great celebration.
Yeah.
Knowing who they are, how they got together, what drives them, what tickles their fancy, what their family's like, what their background's like. Just those nuances, those little tidbits of information drastically changes how you approach the wedding.
Absolutely.
And if you think otherwise, you're a fool, or you're just fooling yourself. I also want to talk to you about tipping, because I don't know if you get this question all the time. Quite recently, and I know why it's happening, it's because, again, these misinformation websites are giving false information. But tipping your vendors is a big question we get from our clients. How do you approach tipping with your clients?
First line I always say, it's never anticipated, but it is always appreciated. So, you know, if you think we knocked it out of the park and we gave you the greatest time ever, sure, you want to give us, everybody on the team, $50 each, $100 each, great. Like, we're ecstatic. You think we did a mediocre job? All right, $50 each, cool. You think we did okay, whatever. I'll even take $10. $10. You know why? Because that, to me, shows that I went above and beyond for you and you noticed it. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. You could give me the biggest hug and a thank you, and I still know that. But when you give that extra love, and it's like, wow, they notice, like, I spent an extra 40 minutes on our 30-minute timed call because they had questions and they didn't want to be left in the dark. Like, those things to me, like, add up. You know, that tip to me, it's like, okay, you noticed how much time I put in before the wedding.
Yeah.
You kind of paid me for my time. That's like the best way I look at it. And as an owner of a business, you know, you don't have to tip me personally, but take care of my guys. They're not making what, you know, what most people think. Like, a roadie doesn't make what a DJ makes, but they're still there working the same amount of time as the DJ. Give them $20, $30, let them put in their gas tank. And most of the roadies that, you know, work with us are no more than 25 years old. They're college kids or high school kids.
I'm going to tell you something that we get a lot of slack for, but there's a reason why we do it, and I'm just gonna say what it is. I don't believe roadies get tips. Here's why.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear this.
Okay, so roadie tips, in my opinion, usually means that you're banking on the roadies to do essential work when, quite frankly, they don't do exceptional work for the client. They do it for the DJ company, of which they are being paid by.
True.
Now, if the DJ company is not paying them adequately, then that's a bigger problem,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. So how I do it is I have them on an hourly basis. They know exactly what their responsibilities are. They get X, Y, and Z. The longer they work, the longer they make. We pay our guys very well. When a tip comes out, the tip is typically for the people who are entertaining the guests, who are being seen and actually putting work forth during, before, and after the event. So how I approach it is this. Same thing. We always tell our clients, you do not need to tip. Do not feel obligated to tip.
Yeah,
we are gracious with accepting it. We thank you for even asking the question. If you're looking for figures, because that's the biggest thing, if you give them like, oh, we don't give numbers, they're lost. Here's what I tell you.
True.
DJs make anywhere between $100 to $200 in tips. MCs make $100 to $200 in tips. Photo booth attendants can make $50 to $100 a tip. And if you're doing a private event where it requires party motivators, such as dancers at bar mitzvahs or 316s, they make $50 to $100 as tips. And that's
average.
Your standard. And I tell them that with the anticipation, like, hey, you could be looking at $500 in tips. So before you go ahead and tip, understand the investment you're going to make is, well, can I do that? Yeah. If not, don't worry about it. Here's what I'd rather you do. Give me a 5-star review and refer me to 3 other people who are going to make up for the $500 you can't pay me. I'd
rather take the reviews and the referrals than tips any day. Even if it's one referral, I'd rather take that than you giving me $20, $50, $100.
Yeah, I would
any
much
day.
rather, and to your point, I would much rather a bride go on those sites or those Facebook groups and blow me up, like hit the little bell notification when somebody asks DJ or use the word and say, you need to call John, you need to call Live Events, you need to call Sam, you need to call whoever. I'd rather you do that consistently for a year, because if you think that $500 is too much, the $500 will be quickly made up if you get me 3 clients.
Absolutely.
So if you want reciprocation, give us an outstanding review and push us to everybody you know. That's our tip. Now, other DJs, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm one of those. Like I said, I'd rather take the review any day and the referral, but I don't know. If we get tipped, like I'm big on, if let's say you get your own individual envelope, cool, like that's your personal tip. But if let's say a bride comes up and is like, Sam, you did a great job, here's some love, thank you so much, the whole nine, and I open it up, there's 2 of us, it's a $100 bill in there, I'll give my roadie $50. Reason being is, I've been there where the owner will get a tip, it'll be $100, and they either pocket it for themselves or give nothing. And again, you did a lot of work. Don't get it wrong. But also, I've been there the same 12 hours as you. I've been roadieing. I've been checking in. I've been doing everything I need to do, or the photo. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That it's just the me thing. I think it's perspective from being, as I call it, the peasant compared to being the owner where it stands. So I try and really take care of my guys extra, like like I birthed them in a way.
Well, yeah. Well, look, again, everybody's way they do it is entirely up to them. It's how you run your business. It's how you feel obligated. I always say that my guys are always fairly compensated, and I make sure that they're constantly working and they're compensated accordingly. If they are not, I get it. I'm not saying that's the reason, but it could be the reason. It could very much be the reason.
Yeah, I mean, this job is very long hours. It's weekends, so if you especially as a young kid, if you're trying to go out on a Friday night to Porter's or Jenks or anything like that, this is not the job for you. A Friday night or a Thursday night is our Monday. Mm-hmm. Our weeks are not Monday through Friday. Ours are Friday through Sunday or Thursday through Sunday, and a sprinkle here and there during the week.
Yeah.
So, for kids, like, I get it. Roadies make the least amount, but still, to make $150 a night as a roadie, that's not bad for a college kid.
I look at it this way. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. That's my bad.
I'm trying
not to do that anymore.
Listen, I'm sitting down with my bro. Like, you could cut me off whenever you want. I'll tell you when I get mad.
I will say that roadie's job, if done correctly, is not a hard job to do. No. It's not.
Pick it up, put it down, tape the wire, go change, and sit there.
Yeah, and that's my thing. That's why like tipping them, in my opinion, is rare. But whereas if they were to go above and beyond for the performance, it's a whole different conversation. I reward people who do exceptional work, and I was taught that by my mentor and my business partner now. If you do exceptional work, you get exceptional. You get exceptional rewards. Yep. And that's the thing. If you reward just mediocrity, that tends to be,
then you don't deserve it.
But my guys, that's what you breed.
Yeah, I mean, I could speak on, my guys. They, especially Don, he's like, when I tell you, like, keeps my head on straight sometimes, I'm always going. And when you have the right guys in my mind, you don't think he's going above and beyond, but I know he is. Like, you don't see it, but I know he's doing extra. Like, Don, like, the light in the back corner that nobody is gonna notice is out. Can you go flip it? Without anybody seeing him, he goes in the back, you know what I mean? They do the little things. Hey, Don, like, I don't see the maitre d'. I'm in the middle of a dance set. Can you go
find him?
Can you go check and be like, yo, his dinner's still coming out in 10 minutes? Like,
Yeah.
you know, those little things add up. So to me, like, I don't know. That's why they deserve a little something. Listen, my guys are compensated well, just like yours. Roadies get paid
I believe it.
the least, but at the same time, you want more, you got to do more. So you want to earn more, that's great. Learn how to do my introductions.
Right.
That's great. You want to get paid more,
Gotta
learn
do
how to do
something during the
lighting.
party.
You got to do something else.
I have my production assistants who are like my DJs when I'm emceeing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, dude, like you learn that automatically, you get a pay raise, and you know you're now warranted for tips. You're part of the performance.
Go run a ceremony.
Yeah.
Go start cocktail music. Go do something more than just pick it up, put it down.
Yeah.
And you can easily gain more.
Correct. I want to have a little. So one of the things I do in the podcast is I like to have a little bit of fun.
Let's do it.
We do like little topics, and let's see. I don't know if you came prepared or if you want to just do it off the cuff. But I talked about like doing sing-alongs, like fun stuff. So like I think of songs that
You're
I
not
would
making
play.
me sing right now, right?
No,
Okay.
no. I've heard you sing, Sam. I heard you sing. It's not. We can't.
I
do
started
that.
sweating for a second.
We can't.
I am not the next.
I'm
American
trying to
Idol,
push
I
this
promise
podcast,
you.
not get it canceled. But I am. We do a lot of fun stuff where I'm like, okay, let's find some tracks that we can play during dinner.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, I love good old Blue Eyes. I love some Dean Martin. Right? I love some Frankie.
Can't go wrong with it.
I love Louis Prima. I love them all. But after a while, like I said, you create that atmosphere where it's just like you're sitting. And that atmosphere is lull. And everybody needs that opportunity. But what about when you want to get them back up dancing? You want to guide them up into a position where they want to get back to a party. So I'm starting to think of like songs that I would play towards the back end of dinner.
Let's see where you're starting with.
Okay. Well, okay. So these are fully honest. These aren't fully in my crates yet because I have tested one or two of them.
Okay.
But I was just like off the cusp driving today, and I went into my little mood where I'm like, okay, let me get into a sing along mood while I'm driving because the person next to me is staring at me while I'm driving. So this one, let's be honest. If you went to a Sweet 16 in New York and New Jersey between the years of 2006 to 2009, you definitely slow danced to somebody to this
I really
song.
wish I could see your screen to see what
Take a
songs you
guess.
have.
What song do you think I'm going to play?
I don't know.
Take a guess. Wild guess. Think Sweet 16, slow dancing, 2006 to 2009.
If we're talking that range and we were talking
on.
pop punk earlier,
Come on.
I'm gonna go. I'm with you, Avril Lavigne. Like old
That-
school. We were talking pop punk before,
So
so
it's
that's where
funny.
I'm going with.
So it's
or like
funny.
Love by Keisha Cole, which is somehow
That's
really
not-
popular now.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
not-
how
that's
it
not it.
came
So-
back like that.
So funny enough, I'll give you half points because this is in the crate list actually.
Is it?
I'm With You by
look at
Avril Lavigne.
that.
And imagine you're listening to this.
I would think. What about like you had Hero by Enrique Iglesias, you had Edwin McCain, you had I want to start singing so bad. I can't do it though.
Sam, how did you
Oh,
know
I
I
just
was
got
singing
into
that?
it.
How did you know I was singing that on the way here? It's terrible.
Because I don't know, we were talking about pop punk and I was just thinking slow. I mean, even I Miss You by Blink-182 you could use
That, you know what?
For dinner. Yeah, and that's to the crate now.
Let's try.
You got a walking jukebox here besides yourself, so let's have some fun. Picking the DJ's
Okay, so let's take a look.
brains.
So, all right, so yay or nay, would you be getting down to this during dinner?
If you say nay, don't put me away. This is a classic.
Here it comes.
You got to sing it in the right type of voice,
well,
that
that's-
nasal, that pop punk style.
Gotta be ready for it. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh no.
You still can't not sing it.
Here it comes.
Say.
Hello there, the angel from my nightmare, the shadow in the background of the moon.
Yo, you really can
Unsuspecting
rock out. Like, this is one of those songs, This Time of Your Life by Green Day. You could even use. That's a good song for chill dinner.
I'm gonna
going,
put this in this crate,
still
actually.
at rock
Let's do that.
style.
I like that. But here comes where everybody goes nuts, ready?
We'll wish this never ends.
I like that better cable on this one. Uh-oh, here it comes.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight.
I'll stop.
I need some.
I was gonna really sing, but I
should both
just
stop.
then I was like, I can't.
No, the song I originally started was this. It's not even like pop rock or punk rock of like the 2000s, but it was like I remember I used
Jack
to say,
Johnson.
no, it's not Jack Johnson. That's another good one though. I was thinking, Mr. Edwin McCain.
Is this I'll Be?
I'll be.
Bro, what about Could Not Ask for More?
That's.
See what I'm saying?
I used to tell
The
girls.
only two popular songs he has were actually bangers.
I actually used to tell girls that this was gonna be my wedding song.
Was it?
No.
Should have something better.
So funny enough, Jess and I went to Nashville the summer before my son was conceived, and then we went to a bar. Shout out Honky Tonk Highway, and I remember the band started singing "I'll Be," and I go, "Oh my god, I haven't heard this in forever," and I'm like, I'm gonna serenade my wife right now in the middle of the bar while drinking bourbon. And I was
She's
this
probably
is-
like this. Oh my God, please don't, please
Oh
don't.
no,
John,
yeah,
please
it
don't."
wasn't. I never said it was good, Sam. Never said it was good.
And then 30 seconds later, she's like, screw it, I'm joining you right now. Let's just have the time of our
but
lives.
it's a classic. It's a classic. Let's go to my next one, which is another one that I think people forgot about, mainly because he's a one-hit wonder. And remind you, this is for you to listen to at the very back end of dinner when you're getting ready to like open up dance sets and you're like, I want to get these people riled up. Do you remember David Archuleta?
Crush, yes.
Yes.
My mom was obsessed with him. You kidding me?
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I used to blast this song in the car. Like I was in a music video, and I would act it out. You should have won. Should have won Idol that year.
He should have.
Should have.
He should have won that year. But, okay, so another one that. Hold on, I just want to check this out. Hold on 2 seconds, people. There we go. All right, making sure it's still there. So another one I've been doing, which actually is like, it's such an, in my opinion, underrated song because it just doesn't get the love I think it deserves anymore. But this gives me like 90210 or like One Tree Hill vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's the Goo Goo Dolls.
What? I love the Goo Goo Dolls.
Iris.
This is Stop It right now.
And I don't want the world to see me.
Come on, you cannot not like Iris. My mom used to play this all the time in the car. And then I used to watch the music video on MTV way back in the day. Like early in the morning when I was getting ready for school and the babysitter would be there, either Cynthia or Chloe, and I would just be blasting MTV. This was like one of the #1 songs on.
Dude.
You can't not rock out to it.
Dude, like, so again, like, I already know that there are going to be people who are going to listen to that and they're like, if I played this playlist for the last 20 minutes of dinner, I'm pretty sure I already have a full dance floor by the time dinner ends.
What was this song? Not First Time. Oh my God. It's going to bother me. It's by Lifehouse. It's their slow song. And I know the name of it.
You and Me? Because it's you.
Yes.
That one? This,
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny, Sam.
Yes.
I actually have that right here. Come on.
This?
I wanna say,
Come on.
just aren't coming out right.
This was like, people, this is such an underrated song. People don't even, I don't think people remember Lifehouse. But First Time, in my opinion, was better than Hanging by a Moment. Even though Hanging by a Moment is their
Another one's in here.
number
Hanging by a
one
Moment's here.
go-to.
Yeah. But right now, the one that I have done, because it's been making a
You got
major...
Natasha Bedingfield in there? Like These
Oh,
Words?
of course.
Something like that?
Of course. I mean, the thing about Natasha right now is that Unwritten is still like the wedding, the white
Forget
people's
Unwritten.
wedding anthem.
These Words are my go-to for dinner. I don't know why.
That's a good one,
Or
though.
not that one. Love Like This with Sean Kingston.
That's
yeah.
a light bulb one.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't even think I have
Walking
this on here.
jukebox. Don't ever doubt my music brain.
That's a good one, Sam.
Thank you. See, that's what's up. When Big Bro gives me compliments, now I feel
That's
better
a
about
good
myself.
one, Sam. I'm gonna have to throw that in there. I gotta make a note of that. The one I've been using actually, that has been tried and tested currently, specifically for the males, specifically for the guys. You can't go wrong with Creed. You can't go
You
wrong.
really can't.
A little bit higher.
So let's go there.
How bad I want to stand up and just rock out right now.
Let's go there. Let's us can we stay? Can you take me higher? To a place where blind man see.
The fact that they're touring again.
Yeah, they sold out PNC,
Yeah.
and
And of course we can't go because we're always
uh,
working. But oh
They
my
were
God.
they were actually performing. It wasn't PNC. It was the Thursday when we were at the expo. Oh gosh, it was
Stone Pony. I'm just throwing
What?
venues. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
It wasn't
even
Stone
remember.
Pony, but it was somewhere in Jersey, and I was like, oh my God, so mad I didn't get that. Obviously, you drop in a little Alanis Morissette in there,
Okay.
and you get a little bit of ironic feels.
Can I throw one in there for you? That's
Please
like
tell me. Do I have
my
one?
like high school time frame.
Tell me.
You Smile by Justin Bieber.
Oh, I don't think I even have that on here anymore, but I might.
Like that, I'm telling you, those millennials and a little
No,
younger
you're not
are
wrong.
belting that out again.
Sam, you're not wrong.
Can you
Let's see-
play Justin Bieber? Of course.
Well,
Of
here's the thing about the
course.
Biebs. Is
As
that,
long as it's the good songs, not like, yummy.
let's be honest. I also knew you when you started basing your haircut off the Biebs.
Listen, no, pause. That's where you got it wrong. I lost a bet with the basketball team.
Sure.
And I had to grow my hair out till we lost the game. And we went really far that year, so I couldn't cut my hair. I hated it. For ROTC, it was terrible. I was every 2 seconds like this. Nah, Yeah, give me this
Your
song.
world and my world, yeah.
And all the girls, remember they would sit on stage and like try to be that girl that he could sing to?
Yeah.
Best thing you should
I forgot about this. I'll be honest with you.
You smile, I
There you go.
smile. Oh, 'cause when
Depends on the wedding. If it's more of a younger crowd, this is a go-to for sure. But if it's like, maybe an older type of crowd, you could still play it, but I don't think it's gonna hit the way, you really want it to.
No, it can't. Look, one thing we've learned in our industry is that everything's about timing. It's about placing the songs at the right moment to get everybody involved, excited, and ready to rock and roll. And if you do it too early, you miss it. If you do it too late, you miss it. So finding it in between those moments is crucial, which is why I always say that, dinner should be an opportunity for you to like serenade the crowd to some capacity. It shouldn't just be to play background playlist music. You have to create an environment that's going to get people out of their seats naturally.
Or just tap your foot, just still be
Yeah.
involved. Like, you can still have the conversation, but you're still with me the whole time.
It's that, oh my God, I love this song moment.
Yup.
For the older crowds, you still have the Billy Joels. You have
Piano Man, of course.
Right. You also have Journeys. Redbone. Like, there's so many different artists
Oh,
and
man.
people that they vibe with that you can
So
still
this
do.
year, I've been using Come Get Your Love
Yeah.
or the Cranberries, what is it, Breath or Breathe? I can't remember the top of my head right now.
yeah.
So those are the 2 songs going into Toast this year. I've been like, you know what? I've kind of really like it. So
Yeah.
it's just been my Breathless. That's the song.
Yeah, that's it.
Took me a minute. See?
No,
Took
it's-
me a minute.
Everything we do really goes around like, okay, is this being played at a wedding? If it's not, maybe it should be.
I got one more for your little
Tell me.
playlist over there. Taking it back, way back. Hannah Montana, 1 in a Million.
I definitely don't have that in my Serato, so I'm gonna have to look.
That's-
that up. Yeah, one in a.
Listen,
yeah, that's
Miley,
definitely
Miley,
one in a-
call me, all right? Listen, you don't know it. I'd marry you in a heartbeat. No, not really. I would, because, it's Miley Cyrus, and she's a legend, but you throw Miley in any playlist, guaranteed. This is a great song.
they say that good things take time.
You know what this would be good for?
Really great things happen in a blink of an eye.
This would be great for cake cutting.
Meet somebody like you were a million to one. I can't believe it. Oh, you're one in a million.
And then you can hit 7 things after this. How Nick Jonas broke her heart.
Dude, I gotta say that actually would be a really good cake cutting song.
Thank you.
That,
Like I said,
that
ladies
might
and
be
gentlemen,
a new offer.
you need a walking human jukebox. Give me a call. I got you.
Another one that I also like that's also underrated was Jesse McCartney.
Beautiful Soul.
Beautiful Soul.
What about
Yep.
Cater to You by Destiny's Child?
That's another good one. Cater to You. Actually, I have that here. Hold on. Cater. I know I have it. There we go. Oh, is this the... Wait, hold on.
Is it a remix?
Might be.
If I wanted,
Yeah, but you probably have a sick remix of it. Let's be
yeah.
real.
Oh, damn. The problem is that, like, another thing that DJs, I think, fall trapped to is that they don't think they'll ever play those songs again. When in reality, songs get recycled. Like, we're seeing that
All the time.
that Love by Keisha Cole is coming back again because of TikTok trends.
Honestly,
or
that's
did come back.
That's
It's
the
kinda over
only
now.
good thing about TikTok is it
Yeah.
has brought back a lot of the early 2000 songs which were underrated then,
Yeah.
which are now crazy.
Well, TikTok, it really opened up the musical aspect of a younger generation into our generation, which was a big deal. But I have to say that this was a big change in the industry when younger kids started asking about songs that we grew up to.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, you actually know that? I was like, okay, I'm down.
Your parents are
Let's-
teaching you right.
All right. Well, listen, Sam, this was a lot of fun. You were a great guest. I was super
Thanks,
happy to
man.
get you on here.
I'd
and-
love to come back whenever you want.
Yeah, man, we got to do this again. But tell the people where they can find you, social media, plugs, like
Absolutely.
do the shameless plugs. This is your opportunity.
Let's do it.
Hit it up.
You can find me at DJ BPN as in Nick, not M, like beats per minute. BPN, Best Party Night. DJ BPN. You could also follow us at BPN Events. And you can find my number directly. If you're having a party, give me a call. We'll take care of you. If not, John will definitely take care of you and bring your party alive. I can guarantee that.
Well, guys, I'm Jon Divine. This is Mixed Conversations. Make sure you guys tune in each and every week, and hopefully you guys found some interesting little tidbits here. If you're planning a wedding, if you have questions, you can actually hit us up as well. Just shoot us at Alive Events ENT, I apologize, at Alive Events ENT. DM us your questions. We're probably going to start taking some questions and topics for the next couple of podcasts. But Sam, again, thank you so much for coming on here. I hope you had a really good time.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Peace
Later,
out.
everybody, guys.